show. Well, today we have several guests and updates for you. Last week I talked about being in school. Several weeks I've been talking about remote schooling, homeschooling, how to help our children in the classroom at home. And today we have someone with us who's going to share with us some information about charter schools and beyond that, a campaign called I Am Black. And it's a national campaign which showcases the Black community's support of public charter schools. This election season, the Charter Schools Action Fund is partnering with local and national organizations, One City Schools in Milwaukee, across the country as part of the I Am Black campaign. And it has been sweeping mainstream, multicultural, and social media. The campaign is based on these three simple statements. Are you ready? I am Black, I support charter schools, and I vote. The purpose of the campaign is to elevate the voices who are the true faces of these innovative public schools and showcase the diverse support for charter schools. And we have with us this morning on Real Talk, as I said, his name is Kaleem, Kaleem Caire, and he is the CEO of One City Schools, I didn't say it actually, in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm so glad to have you with us this morning on Real Talk. Welcome to the show, Kaleem.
Thank you so much. It's great to be on.
Glad to have you. Kaleem, well, I said the word charter schools, public charter schools. Many people, they, have been told or assumed that they are different from public schools. But is it true that all charter schools are public schools, or is that not true?
That is true. All charter schools are public schools in the United States. There are currently 44 states, 3.3 million students, 7,500 public charter schools across the country, and over 219,000 teachers, and all of them are public. Some people say private charter schools. Private charter schools don't exist. There are private schools, but all charter schools are public.
And you just, informed me of something that I was not aware of, because I thought that most charter schools were private. And I guess, just not knowing the information and the details. And I do have a question before we jump into the I Am Black campaign. Does your school, are you all currently working remotely? Are the children at home doing homeschool?
Yeah, so we went back on September 1st. On September 7th is when all the kids came back, but we went back both virtual and in person. So 70% of our students are learning here at our school, and another 30% are learning virtually. And we gave families the option. We know that, there are a lot of concerns related to COVID. We had a lot of conversations with our families from March until the time that we opened to make sure that people would be comfortable with our staff. And we have a lot of families that they need to go to work. They need some place for their children. Others were saying, hey, we can't do the virtual learning. I'm not a teacher. And so we listened to them, and we opened up school the way they wanted us to.
And I know you heard that statement from a lot of your parents saying, I am not a teacher. And I'm sure they realized that on the first day that they were with their children, probably at home. Well, Kaleem, the I Am Black campaign, National I Am Black campaign, tell us more about that.
Yeah, we launched this campaign through the Charter School Action Fund, which is comprised of a number of local organizations, national organizations across the country, because there's a misunderstanding that's going on right now, and it's really being propagated through this election, where there are people who believe that Black folks don't support charter schools, or that's the message that's being given. And then there's another message that believes that we should stop chartering schools across the country. And those two messages are converging. And people need to understand that the vast majority of children who attend public charter schools in this country, more than 70% of them are students of color, many of them Black. And we also have a higher percentage of teachers of color in public charter schools too. And Black communities across the country are the ones that have initiated this chartering of schools in their neighborhoods. Nobody just came into the neighborhood. People didn't want them there. And so the reason is we lived in an environment where so many traditional public schools were failing our kids for so many years, and we didn't have any options. So you had that happening. At the same time, you had this call for a more improved, innovative education that was going to, bring education into the 21st century and innovate in a way where all of our young people would be able to move forward economically, educationally, and move out of disadvantage. So you had those two movements come together. And what happened was we started schools, and the objective of these schools is to both close opportunity gaps for young people, particularly young people of color who've been trapped in this abyss for a very long time, while at the same time putting in place models of education that we hope will help move the American economy, the American, just our life move forward and move people forward. And so, the message that we're sending in the Biden administration, for example, a lot of African Americans overwhelmingly voted for him in the primary, and we want him to listen to our voices. And so we want them to say, look, these are public charter schools, but these are black people. We are black, and we are the ones who are pushing this movement forward. We are the ones who are helping to hold this movement up. And it's because we want our kids to be successful. We want to overcome these gaps, and we want to transform public education in a way that truly meets the public's best interest, which is ensuring our children are prepared for the future. And so we feel that we got to get that message out, because right now there are voices in public policy that are speaking for us. They're not speaking with us or from us. And so it's imperative that we launch a movement like this.
And speaking of launching a movement, in addition to launching the I Am Black campaign, you yourself, you founded and you are leading the movement, your school, One City Schools, and that's a huge thing. And it says that not only are you concerned about our youth, but the community as a whole, because you created, these schools within the black community. Now, Kaleem, can you tell us, with your school specifically, and I'm sure other charter schools, how are you all serving students in the midst of, we know so many things are happening right now, from COVID, Black Lives Matter, social injustice, racial injustice, police, profile, black people being profiled by police, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
How are you all successfully serving the students?
So, there's two ways. First is the model of our school. We have a two-generation model, and what that means is we serve both the students and their families, because we recognize that children often don't move beyond further than their families move them. And so we have to ensure that our parents have, jobs if they are unemployed or if they're trying to improve their employment. We've helped a number of families gain access to employment opportunities in our community here. We provide access to exposure to all the things that people can do in the city so they feel connected. They go to the arts, center to go to plays and concerts and, special events that are happening, athletic events, Big Ten football city and basketball. And so we help our families access those opportunities for their children. Well, at the same time, we have a longer school day, longer school year. We're the only public school in the state of Wisconsin that has both of those. We have 219 days of school compared to 180. Our children get a lot more time into education. We have a full-time chef that cooks for the kids with a cook, and we really pay attention to their diets. And we also have a research model that the University of Wisconsin is looking at, a longitudinal research of our program, because we have both a preschool and an elementary school. And we're going to track our kids all the way through early adulthood, all the way up, because we want to know how our model is having an impact. But in the midst of that, when COVID hit, because we have these strong relationships with our families, we immediately created a COVID fund. And we raised within 3 weeks $130,000 to help our parents pay bills, keep their lights on, keep their housing, buy food for their family, and also pay for child care since our school was closed. And to date, we've used $102,000 of that already. Some of that went down, the spending went down in the summer when families were able to get jobs back, but we're expecting we're going to have to ramp back up again. We held Zoom meetings. We made sure all the families had access to technology. We held Zoom things on Fridays. Our staff came up with this happy hour Friday so that families could be connected to, adults could be connected to other adults. And so every Friday night, that thing was well attended, and people had a good time playing cards and doing all kinds of other things on Zoom. And, we made sure that we ran around to make sure our families were okay if things were happening for them. We had a couple of families that had COVID in their household, and we took care of them during that period. So it was easier for us, though, because we are a public charter school. We are an independent public charter school. where, we're able to do things differently, more quickly than our public school system is here. And so we were able to get technology in the hands of children very quickly, ramp up that fund, raise the money, get the support to families, and work like a dog over the summer to make sure we were prepared for this fall. And right now we are the only public school in Dane County, which has 600,000 people, that is open. And we were able to do that because we are the only independent public charter school. We're actually chartered by the University of Wisconsin.
Kaleem, I'm excited knowing that your school, leaders such as yourself exist, which I know they do, and it tells us that there's no excuse. The things that you have just shared with our listeners, myself, are phenomenal, and it warms my heart to know that the children in your area and beyond are not alone, and not just the children, but their parents, because you mentioned some, they may be scared to come forth about information. As you said, some of them had COVID in their home, and it's a very trying time. And to hear the amount of money that has been raised, and not just raised, but actually distributed throughout the community, is just a great thing that's happening. And you're totally connected to the vision of this show when we say we are growing and becoming stronger and better in our community, our nation, and our world. Well, Kaleem, can you quickly share with our listeners where they can go for more information?
Yeah, please make sure that you're, number one, make sure you vote. And make sure when you vote with your interest in mind. We need to make sure that people understand the importance of public charter schools in this country. And it's imperative that we let people know that we need more schools like this. We need better schools, too. We know there are public schools and charter schools out there that aren't doing well. We need great ones. And so don't advocate against them. Advocate for more better options for our children. And then they can look up the Charter School Action Fund online, or they can go to the National Public Charter School Association and find information about the way they can get involved there. But please let people know, this movement is about moving our children forward, and I'm a part of this. I'm a black man, making sure that our children are successful, and charter schools are a way we're going to help do that.
Well, thank you so much, Kaleem, for being on Real Talk this morning, and please keep doing all that you're doing in our black community and beyond, and have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.